start, but temperatures soar into the 50s by tomorrow afternoon. And given how much sunshine we've been spoiled with yesterday and today, tomorrow will seem cloudier. And our next rainmaker, that arrives on Wednesday. A decent line of showers and gusty thunderstorms push through Wednesday between about 3 and 9 o'clock at night.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale ends soon. Get matched to your perfect bed now and sleep at night. Plus, if you see a lower price, they'll match it. Hurry and stop by Mattress Firm to upgrade today. Restrictions apply.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273D, Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia.
Hey now. Bring it on in. Daily Ticket coming to you live from in studio. Let's go. Sean Brace, Luke Arcaini joining me on this fine venture on this beautiful Monday afternoon in the Delaware Valley, as you just heard. The weather, beautiful out there, gorgeous, sun shining, ready to get the golf clubs all cleaned up and get out on the course. I've been practicing at the Penn Club. Talk a little bit more about the Penn Club all throughout the course of this week, but we got a lot to get to. Luke, good afternoon. How you been?
What's going on? Doing great. Yeah, it's nice out. It's a little chilly out. I played golf Saturday. It was about 55 and sunny. Oh, dude, I played a good round Saturday.
Played 18.
That was the first 18 of the year. Shot an 80. It was a good.
Wait, excuse me, you broke up. 8-0?
8-0, yeah. With a really bad an 80 with three putts. It was
poor you.
It was a good round. We'll say that. First one of the year was a good one.
I got my 56 regrip. That's about the only good thing I got going on for me right now.
I'm also in the new wedge market for new wedges coming soon. No free sponsors, but
I'm in the hybrid market. That's where I'm at.
Oh yeah, love that. That is one thing I will say. If I do need one club that I don't have in my bag right now, I need something between my last iron and my 3-wood. There's like a bit of a gap there. I feel like a hybrid would be nice.
Yeah.
But the golf game's feeling good.
I bet it is.
Oh, big time.
All right. Boys from Swinging and Ding will be dialing you up soon here. Dropping 80s out there. I love it. All right. So much going on. First and foremost, Daily Ticket coming to you live right here on The Gambler. Stream us on the iHeartRadio app. And be sure to follow us on all things social, specifically at this point in time, Instagram at Fox PHL Gambler. And the reason why I say that is because we got giveaways. Hey, now.
Yeah.
We are broadcasting live all weekend. I will be there on Friday from the Philly Show. Check them out online at phillyshow.com. And if you haven't seen anything on your timeline promoting the upcoming weekend event, essentially anybody and everybody in the collectible industry will be there. That's A. B, anybody and everybody from Philadelphia sports will be there, and they'll be signing autographs. It's an opportunity for you, your kid, your best friend, whatever it may be, your wife, to go and meet their favorite Philadelphia sports athlete. Now, I will tell you, this one is dominated by the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl 59, and there is a long list of Eagles players that will be there all throughout the course of the weekend, starting on Friday with the big man himself. Is this what you came here for? Is this what you wanted? Come on, Brace. If you're going to say it, get it right.
So that's what y'all wanted to see.
Yeah, that's what y'all wanted to see. Jalen Hurts will be in attendance on Friday. Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, Big Dom, Gilly, you name them, they're going to be there. And, folks, they hooked us up with a bunch of giveaways to, of course, promote the upcoming show taking place all weekend long in Oaks, PA. And we started it last week, and we are officially announcing our winner for the Jake Elliott jersey that we put out on socials. All you had to do is follow us on Instagram, and you will see real easy how you can win that jersey. And bottom line is we got some really cool ones that we're going to be doing for the next couple days here, including tomorrow at Camp Jurgens. That's going to be on the show. And we also will be giving away a N'Kobe Dean helmet and a Shady McCoy helmet as well. So, man, we got some really cool things going on this week, all courtesy of the folks over at the Philly Show. Luke's going to be there with me on Friday, hanging out. We're going to have Roy, the Gambler Gang, in attendance. And Saturday, it's going to be a mishmash of people as well.
I may be there all 3 days. I know I'll be there Friday, Saturday.
Nice.
But it's a weekend of content and hoping we get a good baseball card out of one of those packs. Because me, Powers, and Chef bought a lot of packs last time and not great. So we're gonna get one this weekend. We're gonna get a banger card this weekend.
I like that. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and do it. Little double entendre right there for you, because we will talk a little NFL Combine, NFL Draft. It's that time of year, but the winner for the Jake Elliott autographed jersey, courtesy of the folks over at the Philly Show, right from the jump here on a Monday. Congratulations, Matt Packer 3 on Instagram. You are the winner of the Jake Elliott jersey. Yes. Congratulations, sir. And like I said, plenty of giveaways all throughout the course of this week. Just be sure to follow us on socials and tell a friend what we're doing here on The Gambler. This is our time to shine. It's our time of year. You know, anybody could be a sports talk radio host when the Eagles are good. Anybody could be a sports talk radio host when the Phillies are in the hunt for a World Series. Anybody can do that. It's easy. Turn on the microphones and talk. Now is when you earn your money, because it's March 3rd. And if you're not paying attention to college hoops, there's not a lot out there for a lot of sports talk hosts and podcasters, all that. So we're going to have some fun. We went and took a lot from the weekend. We got NBA conversation with the Lakers regarding as far as LeBron James and Luka, what the ceiling is for them. 4:05 will have the Phillies report with Luke. He's got a lot to discuss from the Phillies, basically all from last weekend.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Last week and the weekend. Yep. And we were also going to mix in a little 4:30. We'll talk a little Oscars from last night. Did you watch any of the Oscars?
I watched about the first hour, and then I was getting very tired, so I went to sleep. I will say, dude, opening act was chef's kiss. That the Wicked intro was out of this world, fantastic last night.
I didn't really watch a lot of the movies.
No, I've probably seen one movie that was nominated all night. I'm not.
Hey, look, Conan O'Brien was awesome, though.
No, he's the man.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. So we're going to talk about that. And also from the weekend in the world of wrestling, we had a heel turn.
Oh,
and I took that and went with it. And at 4:30, we'll talk about some our favorite athletes to hate. And I have one right at the top of the list, but some intriguing conversational tidbits coming in about our own players and whether or not people hate them and so on and so forth. So a lot to get to, but let's go ahead and get to the big news item of the day here in Philadelphia. And Luke, I'm not that surprised, because it's now it's the time of the year for cap casualties and for the Philadelphia Eagles, who had an incredible season. And it really, look, as great as the offense was and what they're capable of, I don't think that they're winning a Super Bowl without that beast of a defense. And it starts and ends with the young players that rose up and really shine. And then, of course, we're talking about Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, 2 cornerbacks, 2 secondary players. And it doesn't surprise me that the news coming down today, I'm reading it from Tim McManus over at ESPN.com, Super Bowl champion Eagles are releasing 6-time Pro Bowler cornerback Darius Slay. Slay was scheduled to make some pretty good coin, rightfully so. And as I said, he's up there in a little bit of age, and it's now time to turn the page over. Now, it doesn't mean he won't be back. I'm not here saying that it's done with Darius Slay, because he could come back for a lesser number. But at the end of the day, he's 34 years old, and now you drafted well at those positions. I would imagine those guys are going to get a little bit more PT, specifically Cooper DeJean. So I would be surprised if Darius Slay is back in an Eagles uniform. Surprised, not shocked, but surprised. Anyways, 34-year-old Darius Slay on the way out. Like I said, this is the time of year, Luke. The big thing I have for you is you can't pay everybody what they want. and it's cap casualty season. And this is one of the big ones that are out there. You'll continue to see a lot of names pop up and similar situations for other franchises out there. Other than that, like, would you like that? This is what was hitting me when this news came in, Luke. Because as I said, this is strictly a number-based decision, right? Because we know Darius Slay could play really well. Now, he's up there. You're dancing with the devil with that age, right, at 34 years old. But he played well in the playoffs, specifically in the Rams game, right? Hell, I didn't even hear his name in the Super Bowl, but didn't hear a lot of players'
That's
names.
the thing. And those are the guys that you don't want to hear their names. If you don't hear Cooper DeJean's name all game, that means he had a great game. It's the guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. You want to hear those names, but you don't want to hear Darius Slay. You don't want to hear Quinyon Mitchell. No, this is it stinks. I mean, it's a guy, but I think he went out the best possible way that anybody would want to sort of be out from their Eagles career. He had an unbelievable season. I think his
really, you say unbelievable season.
Yeah,
really?
I'm gonna give you a few numbers here that's gonna show you that. I think the season from the Eagles defense overall kind of overshadowed some vets on this team that had a really unbelievable season. These were all career bests for Darius Slay. Completion percentage on his targets, yards allowed, yards per attempt, 20 plus yard completions, first downs allowed, and broken up passes. Those were all career bests for Darius Slay. And it was really like 2 bad-ish games in the beginning of the year, but that was really the whole Eagles defense in general. The Eagles defense before the bye was not good. Something happened during that bye, and they turned into the best defense in football within the matter of 2 weeks. I'm not necessarily ruling out a reunion. I don't know if the Eagles are in a stance right now where it has to be a priority, though. Obviously, they have Quinyon Mitchell. That's going to be their outside number one for the next 10 years. A guy like DeJean, it seems like he could move outside, and then maybe on sort of the run looks, they move him sort of back into the nickel position. It's the matter of if they trust DeJean to be an outside cornerback, because he was unbelievable this year in the nickel. I believe Isaiah Rodgers is a free agent, or he may have one more. But that's a guy that they could maybe look to hold that spot. I know they like Keely Ringo. That's another option. It's a matter of maybe they do go look out again for another corner. But they're not in like hell for the cornerbacks like they have been the last, 5-6 years. It's that late 2010s Eagles. They had some bad cornerbacks. This was the first like big name guy that they had in Darius Slay. I thought he had an awesome Eagles career. If he is back, I think it would be awesome for the team, because I still think he's playing some pretty darn good football. But I don't think Howie Roseman's in a position to have to overpay to bring him back. And obviously they did save around $4.5 million, I think, with the June 1st cut. But I'm sort of indifferent on it. If he's back, I'll be happy. If not, I don't think it's a massive loss for the Eagles, because I still think they're pretty set at the defensive back position.
Yeah, look, I would be, like I said, surprised, shocked, maybe not. But the big picture conversation for me now is, because you have to ask yourself, now Slay, not judge a book by its cover, but I think we know Darius Slay very well, right? And Slay's podcast, and I'm sure he's said this before, Slay's not going to come back for a dirt cheap contract. He's not. At this stage of the game for him, of course, there were rumors about him with the Swan Song going to the Lions. There will definitely be a team out there that says, you know what, bringing him in, look what the effect that he had on some of the younger players with the Eagles. We need some of that in our locker room. And you know what, the players love him. He was a captain, right? You know, I never had an issue with him until he did the podcast. Like, the podcasting thing just weirds me out, and it frustrates me. And you saw from Paul George and now Slay, and it's just like, come on, man. You guys got to realize what's happening. I know it's a new day, new media, as they say, but it bothers me with the players, especially during the season. Anyway,
I will say this. I do think real quick that the Lions need him more than the Eagles need him.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
That Lions defense was bad. They don't have many good corners. I think it would make a lot more sense for him to go back to Detroit.
Correct.
But yeah.
Yeah, look, somebody's going to pony up and pay him more money than what the Eagles will.
He's
but
what,
the
a
thing that
7-time Pro Bowler? Like, he's going to get a contract
six-time Pro Bowl
from somewhere.
Yeah, the thing that hit me was now the Eagles are in that territory. And were they 2 years ago when they made the Super Bowl? Sure. Were they last year after the collapse? No. Because there were some definitely question marks, bigger question marks, coach, whatever it may be. And I'm talking about national perspective, maybe players' perspective. But now the Eagles are in the arena of, will players want to take a hometown discount or take a cheaper rate to come play for a winning franchise, come play with a team that has a quarterback? There's not there's some great quarterbacks in the league, but man, when you look at what the Eagles truly have, there's a few of them out there. There's not a lot. And we're going to go into the QB merry-go-round with who's going to be end up in this situation, who's going to be playing out there with the Jets, who's going to be doing it with the Steelers. Stafford, he was possibly on the move. The Rams said, no, not so fast. We got to be smart about this decision. So my question, the only thing that's hit me right now about Darius Slade, if I could turn it into a topic, because I would assume that 90% of Eagles fans are saying the same thing we are saying right now. Slade played his ass off, especially in the playoffs. Yeah. He has a lot of value, but he's 34 years old, and the Eagles drafted really well. So essentially, we know that the sun is going to set on Darius Slade and his tenure with the Eagles, which is fine. It's time to move on. But where are we at now with potential other players? And we're going to see some cap casualties across the league. We're going to see some players be released that whoa, I wasn't expecting that. The Eagles are in a great spot where, especially with Howie Roseman, the slick tongue of Howie Roseman, you got Jalen Hurts, you got this offense, you got an unbelievable fan base. Defense was incredible last year. You still got Jalen Carter, you got Nakobe Dean. You can go down the list of a lot of these players. Hopefully Zach Bond's back. We brought up Quinyon and Cooper. So I think the Eagles are in this really great spot right now. Of course, won the Super Bowl, and players out there that are potentially going to be free agents got to be saying, you know what? I want to play there. Like, man, the season is so long. And if you're unhappy, if you lose 5 out of your first 6 games and your season's already cooked, or like a team like the Dolphins had expectations and then Tua gets hurt and they're done, that's got to mean something for a lot of players. So I'm wondering if Howie might have a move up his sleeve this year, this offseason, simply based off a player going, you know what? I want to be there. I think the Eagles are now in that conversation of being there. Finally, we are there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think and based off of, if you take everything into account and you take the team and you take the atmosphere and you take the coaching and the front office and the fans and just every single thing that matters for a football team, I think the Eagles might be at the top, right? Like, they go out and they win a Super Bowl, right? They start off 2-2. They go through the bye week. Everyone wants the coach fired. They don't think the quarterback's good enough. They go win 16 out of their next 17 games, and they show that they are quite literally like every team in the NFL should want to be like the Eagles right now. They have the best roster in football. They have probably the best offense in football. They have the best defense in football. They have a top 5 coach in the sport. The best GM possibly in the history of the NFL runs their team. They have an owner. Yeah, no, I said it. They have an owner that is willing to do whatever it takes to win. They've been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 7 years. They have the best fan base in all of sports.
Wait, one more time. 3 Super Bowls in the last 7 years. Say that again.
They've been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 7-8 years. Like, if you're a player, right, and
incredible to hear that,
and you're a free agent and you get a contract from the Carolina Panthers that's 3 years, $30 million, and you get a contract from the Eagles that's 3 years, $26 million, like, it's absolutely worth losing the $4 million in your contract, because you know how much you can build in this Eagles team. You see guys like Zach Bond. Zach Bond was a guy who could barely crack special teams in New Orleans. Now he's a first-team All-Pro. He's Defensive Player of the Year finalist. And, I mean, Vic Fangio just absolutely revived this guy's entire career. Now he's set for a huge payday, hopefully with the Eagles. But,
Hopefully.
like, we've seen guys come here and these rookies develop, and just so many guys that are on this team. It's just not like any other football team. Yeah, they're not the Chiefs. They haven't won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. But this is to me the best overall ran football team in the NFL. And if you're a free agent, there shouldn't be a reason why you don't want to be here. And I think that'll leak heavily into the Myles Garrett thing. It's like Myles Garrett, no matter what he says, he wants to play on the Eagles. Like he watched that defense last year and he watched this team win a Super Bowl. Do you think he wants to play for Cleveland or do you think he wants to play in Philly? He wants to play in Philly. Like these big names want to play for winning, well-ran football teams. And that is the Eagles. And that's probably, once again, based off the NFL, it's probably the best ran franchise in the entire sport. Like, yes, I completely think there's going to be some sort of hometown, sort of like the discount guys. I mean, we've seen it across some of the other teams as well, just like the Philly sports thing in general. You see Aaron Nola. I mean, he was here for 8 years, but he got a way bigger offer from the Braves and he declined it to stay home. Like, this is a city that people want to play for, and especially over the last, 8 to 10 years. You've seen the runs from the Phillies. You've seen sort of the playoffs from the Sixers, and they haven't, gone all the way or gone far, but it's consistently a team that wins. Yes, maybe not this year, but it's this city plays winning sports, and these guys should want to come play in Philadelphia.
Agreed. Across the board with you on everything you just said. And I think it's really easy to see that, to understand it, to grasp it, even as just an average fan. But, I'm not getting bogged down with the rumors that are out there. Diana Rossini cooking it up. That's fine. Yeah, there's definitely interest in bringing a guy like Myles Garrett here, but you have to trade for him. Yeah, it's rumor season. It's up to something season. Exactly.
But I'm also in the boat that I know Howie Roseman's smarter, and I know he's an insanely smart GM. And if the offer for too much is for Myles Garrett, then he's not going to do it. I'll tell you right now, Howie's not going to spend everything for Myles Garrett.
No, but at the same time, Howie Roseman, he understands that the window is now.
Correct.
And he has said that. And for me, I just opened up talking about how important this defense was. It's easy to say that. They were number 1 overall. They were ridiculous. But, like, with a defense like that, we saw for the last few weeks of the season, we said this is a Super Bowl championship caliber defense. And if they play the way that they continue to play on Sundays throughout the course of the regular season, this team will be in the Super Bowl because of the defense. I said that a number of hits throughout the course of the playoffs, Luke, when I was doing some national hits. I simply said to the host, I know I said it 2 times in the 2 different games, once against the Rams and once against the Commanders. And I remember saying specifically that the defense could literally look across the locker room and tell the offense, guys, we got this. That's how good they are. And that's how important they were. And we understand it's really easy to concept, to grasp that. And you add a guy like Myles Garrett to the mix. I just think of course, what does it do to the defense? It elevates it up to another level. Could you imagine Myles Garrett and Jalen Carter being on the same defensive line? That's insane. So maybe Howie says this is the moment. This is the time. I don't think it's going to happen because the asking price is going to be astronomical. But the guy like Myles Garrett on this defense, watch out. Watch out. And maybe Howie is saying that as well. So we'll see. I know it's up to something time. There's interest both ways. Of course, there's interest anywhere. Number 1, Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland. He can't now say, I want to go to this place. He can say wherever he wants. But at the end of the day, Cleveland's going to take the best deal, and we'll see what happens with that. Finally, I do want to bring this up because since we talked about we are now there. The Eagles, with the report card that came out last week, I think it was earlier last week, the 2 areas that they got to improve on. One is the locker room. It's a D+. Now, if you know NovaCare Complex, it is a little small. I don't think it's dated, but it is a little small. Those guys are crammed in there.
So real quick about that. When they do these report cards, that's about their practice facility or it's about Lincoln Financial. So are they talking about the Lincoln Financial locker room or are they talking about
good question. I assume it's a little bit of both. The locker room inside the Link, like what other locker rooms? I guess you could sit there and say, look at the Rams, those new stadiums. The locker room at the Link is pretty big. Yeah. It's not, like I've been in there a few times. It's not that small and it's pretty standard compared to the others. And they got a D+ in that, where you had a few Ds, you got an F in there. Again, not going to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but it is something to add into it. I guess maybe practice facility would be something completely different. So maybe this is strictly the locker room at the Link, like you just brought up. All right. Well, I digress on that one. Anyways, I got to work on that. And then the other one, which was really surprising, which absolutely you got to work on, the team travel. You can't be if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you can't be getting an F with team travel. Now, I don't know what's taking place behind the scenes, but if Jeffrey Lurie is who I think he is in that organization, who is in charge of these issues, I would imagine that there will be some change coming to improve on that in players' eyes, because that's not good. You don't want team travel, whether it's players' families, these players, or anything along those lines, getting an F. Now, it's not as bad as the Patriots with their plane that literally still has ashtrays in the seats. There are ashtrays. Now, do you know what year, Luke? I don't even think you were born yet when they outlawed smoking on domestic flights.
What year did they outlaw smoking?
2000.
Yeah, I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, they outlawed smoking on domestic flights, period, across the board in 2000.
You used to be able to smoke on flights?
Dude, it was
that's bizarre. That is bizarre.
Smokers had so much, like, they could do whatever they want, and they still flick their butts out the window. Who allowed that? You litter bug. Somebody did that in front of me the other day. My daughter saw it. She's like, "Look at that litter bug." I'm like, "That's right. That's right."
There we go.
All right. We are going to talk a lot more about the NFL on the other side. We do have some odds and ends we got to get to from the weekend, and specifically it comes down to the quarterback position. Everybody loves to talk about him. What do you do with Aaron Rodgers? If you're Sam Darnold, do you dare go back to the Jets? We did have a huge piece to the puzzle as far as quarterback carousel is concerned, with Matthew Stafford remaining with the LA Rams. We knew that was going to be the case. Good move by both teams. But now, if you're the New York Giants, what do you do with the upcoming NFL draft and free agency? If you're the Jets, what do you do? The Steelers, and there's some other teams out there as well. Could Kirk Cousins be on the move? We'll see. We'll talk some QBs on the other side. Also, in the world of what the hell are they talking about? Mike Florio and Chris Sims had a one-on-one with Andy Reid. And I know a thing or two about buttering up a guest. I get that. But then there's a whole nother side of this when you just shovel a mountain of manure on the table to try and butter up your guest. And specifically talking about how Super Bowl 59, to their recollection, went down. Yeah, I have some issues with Mike Florio, that weasel, and Chris Sims, and what they had to say to Andy Reid about Super Bowl 59 and how it transpired. Yeah, the Chiefs, they were in it. Yeah, it was close. It was a tight game. Anyways, we'll play that audio for you on the other side. We'll talk some quarterbacks. We got some NBA conversation to get to. Of course, big news here in Philadelphia. Back in action tonight. Let me know if you're going down to the Sixers game. But Joel Embiid is shut down for the rest of the season. And some of the reports that are coming out now are just god-awful. And I'm pretty sure that we're all in agreement that this is not going to be good for JoJo moving forward. Does suck that it did take place over the weekend, but finally shut down, played in 19 games this season. Ouch. More Daily Ticket. Luke Arcaini, Sean Brace. Don't go anywhere. More after this.
Cinderella stories are fun until they bust your bankroll. The madness is coming.
Cooper there to clean it up. A throwdown with two hands.
Keep it locked right here to The Gambler. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
42 northbound, crawling 544 to 295. Car fire cleanup takes out the two left lanes. That's 295 northbound, Jan approaching 42 as well. 42 southbound Heavy Walt, Whipney Creek Road. 95 northbound, Jan Allegheny up to Bridge. Fire to total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale ends soon. Get matched to your perfect bed now and sleep at night. Plus, if you see a lower price, they'll match it. Hurry and stop by Mattress Firm to upgrade today. Restrictions apply.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At Randall's Restaurant in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, we offer a high-quality dining experience that's upscale yet approachable, with a blend of American classics with unique flavors and a welcoming setting for any occasion. You can enjoy an elegant dinner or casual night out. Join us this March for happy hour from Wednesday to Saturday for food and drink specials, or check out our all-day Sunday brunch. And with our exciting seasonal specials and spring menu coming soon, there's always something new to enjoy. Visit randallslegacy.com to make your reservation today. That's randallslegacy.com.
A landscaping pro's workday is measured in power per hour. More work in less time. That's why the pros prefer Echo outdoor power equipment. Echo's best-in-class chainsaws, blowers, and string trimmers make light work out of the toughest workdays. It's time your crew upgraded to Echo Power. Experience Echo Power for yourself at Laurel Lawn Mower in Blackwood, New Jersey. Visit laurellawn.com or call 856-228-2770 to learn more. Echo. Power on and on.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on there.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Ziegler gets the ball to Meshack. Meshack's going to take it. 2 seconds. Meshack, 1 second. Launches the three-point shot. Gone at the buzzer. Meshack wins it for Tennessee. With 3.8 seconds to go, Tennessee brings it up the floor. And Jemai Meshack hits the biggest three-point shot in his career. Jemai Meshack, the game winner from near midcourt as he hits that three-point shot. And Tennessee has knocked off Alabama 79-76.
How about it, sports fans? The madness. Yeah, it's here. March is here. College hoops front and center. If you've been paying attention, good for you. If you haven't, keep it locked to the Gambler. We'll get you up to date so we can remove any of that anxiety before you fill out the bracket coming up here in 2 weeks. We still got regular season action. Of course, Villanova, home of the Villanova Wildcats. They're back at it tomorrow. But from the weekend, real quick, if we can, Luke, buzzer beater out of nowhere. Tennessee with the home victory, which was just electric, 79-76. They took down Alabama. I think it was a 4-point spread. So the Crimson Tide did cover the number there, but a top 6, I want to say 5 and 6 or 4 and 5.
I think it was 5 and 6. I think Alabama was 5.
Correct. But two teams that look, Alabama, if they won, were front and center for a 1 seed. With that loss, it opens things up. That's for sure. And of course, Lenardi was saying that as well. Still a lot of action to be played. So we'll see how this one all unfolds over the next 2 weeks here. But a great weekend of college hoops. A great week because we opened up with the buzzer beater, Michigan State Sparty on the road against Maryland.
Oh, that one was awesome. That
was incredible. And then Friday night, late night, Michigan hits a walk-off buzzer beater late on Friday. And then, of course, Saturday, all eyes were on that one. And it was a busy weekend for your boy. I had a 5-year-old birthday party both Saturday and Sunday. No complaining because Saturday was my daughter. Sunday was another one of her friends. But we were able to get back and watch the Tennessee-Alabama game. Had a house full of people, family and friends, and we were all locked in on ESPN for that one. And when that shot went through, the place erupted. And everybody just kept on saying the same thing. Madness, it's here. It's here. What a great weekend of college action.
Yeah, that was a big one. I will say I have been tuning into more Alabama basketball games. I do hold an Alabama Natty ticket at plus 800. But so I have been watching some more Alabama college basketball.
Nice.
I will say I have been getting way more into college basketball over the years. This is probably the most college basketball that I've watched probably in my entire life. So big into college hoops, always ready for March Madness. And I believe it's March 20th is the first day. It's always great too because it's always like my birthday weekend. So it's March Madness into the birthday, and then it's right into Phillies baseball. It's always a nice week and a half stretch there.
Selection Sundays on March 16th, and then we got the first 4, and then 20th is the Thursday where officially everything gets going. But yeah, we're gonna be all over the place. Gambler Gang, keep it locked right here.
Where would you rank as far as days in the sports calendar? Where would you rank the first day of March Madness?
It's got to be up there.
It's got to be top 3 because it is absolutely incredible.
It's probably number 1 for me because the juices are just,
it's just 14 straight hours of college basketball.
It's a Thursday. That whole weekend is incredible. You don't leave the house. You got to watch every game, every finish. And of course, you're ripping up your bracket most of the time heading into Friday. But hopefully we can, like I said, help people out. And we're going to be doing that all week long here with Ryan Beef Coyle. Of course, all things beef bets on Friday. We got a lot of college big brains here when it comes to college hoops. Mark Henry Jr., Joe Tanzi. I'll even throw myself into that equation as I've been paying a lot of attention to all things college hoops. So we're going to be front and center with moving forward this week. Not so much today, but moving forward this week, we'll be all over college hoops. We do have a couple big games tonight. One, Kansas and Houston. The other one is Duke. You talked about a team, or you have a ticket on Alabama. Preseason, I was beating my chest about Alabama. I was telling my brother-in-law over the weekend, and I said, because he asked me, he's like, you got any futures? And I said, the only future I hold is a Duke 10-1 ticket. Ooh. Before the season started, I told everyone that they needed to get it because once the season ends, bracket comes around, they'll be somewhere around the ballpark. I need to dig the tweets up because I argued with a guy. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. I said they would probably be around the 300 mark, if I'm not mistaken. They're plus 370 right now. And they are one of 3 or 4 teams that could win it. I'm not sitting here saying that Duke will win it, but I feel pretty good about having that ticket. I'm in the driver's seat. Let's put it that way. So they're plus 370 right now in DraftKings. Auburn, who played awful over the weekend, but still were able to roll Kentucky on Saturday, plus 340 to win it. Auburn's really good. They're experienced. They're long. They have a great, skillful roster. Duke, though, man, it'd be a lot of fun to see Duke make a run, of course, for my wallet. But at the end of the day, like I said, there are a couple teams that I think could get to the finish line.
I will say really quick, too, I did throw a plus 2,500 on St. John's as well to win the tournament.
Ooh.
I've been loving some St. John's basketball. Loving St. John's basketball this year.
It's a good number.
Yeah. So those are my teams heading into a few weeks.
Look, Rick Pitino is one of the best coaches in the game. There's no doubt about it. He has now won his 5th conference title, different conference with the Big East. It's incredible to go through the history of Rick Pitino. Of course, the ups, the downs, what he's been through. But man, the consistency is the fact that he can coach his ass off and he gets the most out of his players. So a huge Pitino fan. We watched him in person against Villanova. It's a long team. It's not the deepest team. Offensively, I thought I needed to see a little bit more if we're talking about winning a national championship, but every team has flaws. So I could sit here and say that absolutely St. John's could be one of the teams that ends up winning. I will not say that they will, but I'll be pulling for you. Luke. All right, let's go ahead and shift gears and get back on over to the world of the NFL. And before we fire away on Mike Florio and Chris Sims, sitting down with Andy Reid, just whatever. I do want to ask you this. As far as the merry-go-round for quarterbacks are concerned at this point in time, we are in the season. I mean, hell, Aaron Rodgers, he's not even a free agent. He's still under the Jets. Like, he still is a Jets member. He's a member of the New York Jets at this point in time. But if I'm the New York Giants, what are you doing if you're the Giants? You were all in on Stafford. That felt like a move that they wanted, desperation. And people are saying that there was definitely conversation. Sure, there was conversation, but I don't think it was ever going to happen. Because you look around the landscape of the NFL and how many teams really truly have a quarterback and somebody that's a first ballot Hall of Famer in Matthew Stafford. So you're not going to let that guy leave your facility. But the Giants are in a huge bit of trouble at this point in time with the quarterback position. And I just don't see a scenario where Dable and the general manager are returning after this year. I really don't. Because they're going to have to draft a quarterback, whether it is Shedeur Sanders, whether it's trading up to get Cam Ward at 1, whether it is taking Jackson Dart later in the draft, whatever it may be. Like, they're going to have to draft a rookie quarterback and pick up somebody off the scrap heap for a potential veteran quarterback to start the season. And I just don't see that turning into 7-8 wins. I think this is another god-awful season for the Giants that they're looking at 5 to 6 wins tops. Yeah, and I think you fire everybody at that point in time. This is why they needed to fire everybody when the season ended. They needed to
That's what I was just about to say, too. It's funny that you sit there and say, they're going to draft a quarterback, and if it doesn't work the rookie quarterback's first year, then they'll fire everyone. If there was a time to fire everyone, it was the second that this past season was done. Completely clean house, start over, and get a new GM, a new coach, and go and figure it out with a rookie and expect and tell your, fan base and everybody involved with the Giants that, yes, we are not going to win in 2025. Maybe we won't win either in 2026, but we're starting over. We're drafting a young quarterback and we're going to develop him. Like, what are you going to do when you draft a quarterback and just like you bring in a guy like a Carson Wentz or like a Jameis Winston kind of guy? Like what is your plan? Like what are you trying to do? What is the Giants' plan going in the next season? I would love if I had one question to ask Dable or Joe Shane or whoever. My only question would be, what is your goal next season? Because I don't have the answer. And to be honest with you, I don't think they have the answer.
No.
I don't think there is no pathway set right now for the New York Giants.
They're in trouble.
They're in trouble. They have the chance to be really bad for a while. And
correct.
Do you go take one?
If you're a coach, you have to view it as your job is on the line more so than ever for Dable and that general manager. And what I would say is that's going to, and it's not beneficial for the organization as a whole. That's why Mara needed to fire him, because these picks are going to be specifically because they need to be aggressive. They have to find wins. They have to find players that can play right here, right now. And that's easier said than done. That roster has been atrocious for years. You're not going to fix that in one off season, especially when you don't have a quarterback. Look, they're going to be looking at guys like Jimmy Garoppolo, Carson Wentz, like you just brought up. At best, if they can figure out a way to get a guy like Sam Darnold, that would be a huge win. I don't see that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But like Marcus Mariota is an unrestricted free agent. Jameis Winston, as you said.
I know I'm better than this. I know. I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
Mr. Deliver me from pick sixes. He'll be up there at MetLife. Yeah, they're in trouble right now.
Where I'm at with the Giants, and I think their best shot right now is I think they try and trade for Justin Fields. And I think you trade for Justin Fields and you bring him in. I mean, you saw what he did with Pittsburgh last year. He had a pretty good start with Pittsburgh. I think bringing in a younger Justin Fields is a better option than trying to go trade and pay all this money for a Kirk Cousins. I'd rather trade for Justin Fields than go hand Sam Darnold a massive contract after what we saw the last 2 weeks and that playoff game from him last year. I would go trade for a guy like Fields. I would take a flyer on a quarterback maybe in round 2, try and develop him and hope Justin Fields is good. Because I don't, if I'm a Giants front office, do I want to go give, I mean, how much money do you think Sam Darnold's going to be north of $100 million, right? Do you want to give $100 million to Sam Darnold, or do you want to trade for Justin Fields, hope it works, and if it doesn't, then you hope the guy you drafted worked? It's just, I thank God every day for Howie Roseman, and I thank God every day for Jeffrey Lurie, because I don't know what I'd do. I would have been so out of Giants fandom years ago if this was the situation. Because it's just, it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the sport of football. And yeah, maybe they're not the worst team, I would say overall team in football, but they're up there for the worst organization right now, because it's it is going to get worse before it gets better. And they are under a lot of pressure to make the right decision, because at the same time, they are the New York Giants. They're a New York football team. They have to get back into the market. They can't go out and have 7 seasons in a row of 3, 4, 5 wins. They have to find a way to get better. And I don't, because they have a good wide receiver. Malik Neighbors is awesome.
But if he's not getting the ball, he's going to lose his mind.
He's going to lose his mind. He's going to be out of there in no time. They have that. They have a young guy in Tyrone Tracy who showed a lot last year. But what do you you have to find a quarterback. We talked months before the Super Bowl. Teams, you can't win football games without a quarterback. It doesn't matter how good your roster is. And their roster isn't even good. So they don't have a good roster, and they don't have a good quarterback, and they don't have a good coach, and they don't have a good GM. But yeah, let's bring everyone back, go throw stupid money at some average quarterback, and just hope it turns around. They're an absolute dumpster fire, man.
Malik Neighbors had a hell of a year last year.
He's gross. Sean, he is nasty. He's so good. And it's just
15 games. He had 109 receptions. Yeah.
It's that meme of the broken house with the Bugatti in the driveway. It's just you can't
Yeah, but that Bugatti is going to be really loud.
It's going to be skirting off in the matter of no time if they don't figure something out.
I saw something on the timeline over the weekend with Boogie Cousins, NBA, and of course he was talking about legacy and how teams control everything, and you have to fight tooth and nail to get to where you're at, because if you want to be remembered, if you want the best for your career, you can't end up in places like this for an extended period of time. And that Neighbors is having those conversations with himself right now. They don't have a quarterback on the roster. Pull it up. There's not a quarterback on the roster right now. It's insane to think about where they're at as far as the Giants organization.
I love it.
If you're Malik Neighbors, you're probably going, dude, like to my agent, whoever it is.
He can't even work out with his quarterback in the offseason. They don't have one. Like,
that's a good call.
He can't even
good call.
The dude can't even get better. He can't even build a connection. Like, he can work out with the running back and like maybe the O-line that stinks. He can't even work out with his quarterback. If he wants to work out with somebody over the offseason, he has to call another team's quarterback or find a guy he worked with in college. Like, it is bizarre. It's bizarre.
Tommy Cutlets. I thought like he was still on there. He's not. He is an exclusive rights free agent, whatever that is. I don't even know. ERFA. Anyways, enough about the Giants. Good luck.
Give Cutlets $40 million. There you go. There's my answer.
But I mean, if you're a Giants fan and all of a sudden you're starting the season off and Tommy DeVito is your starting quarterback, you're losing. You're just like, dude, I'm not dealing with this year. I'm not tuning in. You can't. You lose your mind over it. All right. Again, Rodgers, where's he going to end up? If you had to guess, give me a guess right now. Look into your crystal ball, Luke Arcaini, and tell me where Aaron Rodgers ends up in your mind. He could end up with the Giants too. And the only reason why I say that is because he wants to play. He will be the starting quarterback if that's both, right? He wants to be a starting quarterback and he wants to play. And oh, by the way, he doesn't have to move.
Yeah, it's fair.
Could happen.
It could. I want to say it's still in the back of my head that I think it could be the Raiders. I did like your point the other day about possibly the 49ers a few weeks ago, but I still don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to go somewhere where he's not guaranteed the starting job. Aaron Rodgers is not going to go somewhere where he doesn't not know that he's starting. I think that, as funny as it sounds, I think the Giants kind of make sense, even though it doesn't. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. I think the team that makes the most sense is the Raiders, because I think it all depends what the Titans do at 1, because I don't necessarily know if it's 100% lock that they'll take a quarterback. You think they would, but they also could just go best player and once again say these quarterbacks this year maybe not be a great class. Maybe we'll try and continue to build this roster and get out of cap hell and like maybe draft an Abdul Carter. But maybe Tennessee for a year, maybe the Raiders. But I don't know. The issue is I don't think Rodgers is that good anymore. So
he's not, but he's so much better than anything.
But he has a name. That's the thing. If you're the Giants, would you rather sign Carson Wentz or Aaron Rodgers? Would you rather sign Jameis Winston or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
Do you want to deal with the other side of Aaron Rodgers? That's the question, because I sure wouldn't. But I mean, if it comes down to it, we're playing football. So if I had to choose between Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, and Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna pick Aaron Rodgers. But I don't want to pick. I don't think the Giants want to pick Aaron Rodgers, but I think they're gonna have to if it comes down to it.
So is that your final answer? Do you think Aaron Rodgers ends up with the Giants?
I think Rodgers ends up with the Giants or the Raiders. Okay. I think it all depends how the draft goes. If one of the quarterbacks gets to the Raiders, I think the Raiders will take them.
I think Cam Ward is going to Titans. I think Cam Ward is the number 1 overall pick, and it shouldn't shock anybody, right? We've all been through this before. And I think when the number 1 pick is announced and Green Bay hell of a place to have the draft. You know, remember it was when we had the draft here in Philly, and everybody was like, "We need to have it every year here." It's like, yeah, hasn't been back since, but we did do it right. Anyways, Green Bay, yeah, they're going to be hosting this year. Anyways, you got Will Levis, and you're not going to skip out on a quarterback because you have Will Levis. So I think Cam Ward's number 1 overall. And then we'll see what happens with the Giants at 3.
Yeah, what are we like? What is the outlook for Cleveland? Are they going QB? Are they going bet? Like this is a weird year for the draft. I think there's years where sometimes we can predict the top 8 picks. I don't think you know from 1. And I think we can guess that Tennessee might take a quarterback, and I think they're probably leaning towards taking a quarterback. Yeah. But they could go best player, and then Cam Ward could fall to the Browns. But the Browns could also go best player, and Cam Ward and Shedeur could both fall to the Giants. Like, there's a way for the Giants to definitely get one of those guys in Shedeur or Ward, but
they have to give up a lot. No, look, I like I said, I don't think Cam Ward is coming off of the 1 spot. So he's going number 1 overall. Could a team trade up and give up a king's ransom? Possibly. But at this point in time, on March the 3rd, I'm going to say Tennessee Titans select Cam Ward number 1 overall. Then the Cleveland Browns go number 2. And I don't think that they will draft Shedeur Sanders. I don't think that that's going to be the case. And I think they go Abdul Carter. Then the Giants will have the ultimate decision. Do they believe in Shedeur Sanders? If they do, then of course he's going there. If they don't, you know, they could potentially get a guy like Travis Hunter, which would be a good pick. Offensive lineman Will Campbell out of LSU could be a good pick for them. Could they go defensively? Sure. But for me, for my money, I do believe that they are going to talk themselves into Shedeur Sanders and go out and get a vet to be the starting quarterback for the upcoming season, then have Shedeur ready to go in waiting. So that will be your top 3 picks for my money. And then it gets interesting with the Patriots. Will they go Travis Hunter? Travis Hunter is a hell of a player. Yes. I'm really worried, and we're going to talk about Travis coming up here at 4:05 with the Phillies report, because he had something interesting to say about playing both ways. I worry that that's the expectation for him going into the NFL. He's incredible. We've seen it done before, but man, there's some dogs at the professional level. And if he's that important to one side of the ball, and I've said this a few times already, this is the same conversation the Eagles are going to have about Cooper DeJean returning punts. It's not worth it. Get him out of there. He means too much on the defensive side of the ball. And a guy like Travis Hunter. Now, am I making a mountain out of a molehill if you play him 20 snaps on offense? I just think he's really damn good at wide receiver. He might be a better wide receiver than cornerback.
Yeah.
I heard Orlovsky say today that he reminded him of Randy Moss and Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he said that on television. So you mean to tell me this guy who somebody said, now, look, Orlovsky's my favorite gas bag. He does like to gas bag it up. He's good at what he does. But if you're telling me somebody out there believes this guy could be Randy Moss-esque or Tyreek Hill-esque when he watches the film, and you mean to tell me you're going to find 20 snaps on offense for him this season? No, that's the wrong way.
You're out of your mind.
Anyways, all right. Fun conversation in the NFL. Quickly on this, over to our good friends over at Crossing Broad, where you can find Luke Arcaini as well. And this was on the timeline. Actually, you know what? I take it back, because it was on the timeline courtesy of I think Instagram from Crossing Broad over the weekend. Yes. And it caught my attention. And I said, excuse me? Andy Reid sat down with an interview for Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio and Chris Sims, who is a notorious Jalen Hurts hater, but had to eat his words. And Mike Florio starts the interview off by saying, quote, to Andy Reid, when you go back and look at the Super Bowl, before it's 24-0, I feel like it could have gone either way. Now, Luke, I don't know. Like, you watched the Super Bowl, right?
No, not a second of it. No.
Oh, you didn't watch it? Okay.
No.
Well, if you did tune into it,
I just know it was a really close game. the whole time.
That's it. There you go. If you didn't watch the Super Bowl, that makes more sense.
If you didn't watch the Super Bowl, I think you might have thought the Chiefs won based off of some stuff I've seen on the timeline.
That's incredible that he was like, that game was over immediately. It really was. Like Kelsey was all out of sorts. The only thing that you could pitch me that's a positive about the Chiefs when we have the looking back at the Super Bowl that the Eagles won. The only thing that you can pitch me is like it's Mahomes, and Mahomes has been there before. He's trailed, just because it was getting out of hand. Still, you got Patrick Mahomes. He can get you in a lot of games.
Patrick Mahomes didn't cross the 50 till the third quarter.
Yeah, like it went punt, pick six, punt, interception. There was no point where before it was 24-0, it could have gone either way. No.
They called the OPI on A.J. Brown, and it was an immediate 3-and-out. It was also almost a pick six. Everyone forgets that game almost started off with a Slay pick six. That was a pass breakup. That was a pass breakup on a third down from Mahomes. It was on the close sideline. Slay ran up, had it, and dropped it. That was pick six to the house, 6-0.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Oh, big time. Yeah, so I did watch.
Cigar, baby.
I did watch the game, actually. And yeah, I watched the Chiefs get their ass kicked for about 3 hours straight. That game was never close. The only time they were winning was the coin toss. It's literally the only time. They won the coin toss, and they didn't win nothing else the rest of the night.
You got to ask yourself, like, I get it. People are trying to talk to Andy Reid and build him up a little bit, but like, what are we talking about when it comes to that? For me, Luke, it was over when Bradley Cooper grabbed the mic.
All right, from the city of brotherly love, your 2024 NFC champions, the
Come on. Sorry, Mike Florio. It was over as soon as Bradley Cooper grabbed the mic.
Mike Florio is also the one that he wanted to get the Eagles involved in this Saquon incident with the tampering. So he hasn't been on our side for a few months.
I used to do some hits with Mike Florio way back in the day, and he was about as stiff as it gets. That's all I'll say. But God bless him. He's made a name for himself. Keep doing your thing. He was definitely, like trying to butter up Andy Reid, trying to figure out anyway. But that's all right. All right, other side. Here's what we got for you, folks. 405, other side. We are going to talk some Phillies baseball with Luke Arcaini. He sent me a couple tips. You think like, oh, yeah, you've been paying attention to Phil's baseball. Maybe you just jab it. No, you haven't. Wait till you hear what Luke's got cooked up. He's got so much as far as from his notepad that he wants to get out there. So we're going to allow him to shine. Also, we're going to mix it up because Travis Hunter had something to say about playing both ways. And they brought up Shohei Ohtani's name. And we know what Shohei Ohtani has been doing, playing both ways in baseball. And my take is, if you think one is easier than the other, and you're not taking Shohei at the top of that list, then you are stone cold wrong. We'll mix all of that up on the other side. It's the Daily Ticket. More after this.
Spring is in the air, and it's time to swing for the fences. Our MLB coverage is bringing heat all season long.
Everybody moves up 90 feet.
Be sure to catch Luke Arcaini and Sean Brace on the Daily Ticket. Only one place that covers all the action. It's The Gambler.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Justin Jude, Global CEO of LKQ Corporation.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
With spring just around the corner, wouldn't it be great if you could upgrade your space? Well, Macy's is here for you. It's your last chance to catch our President's Day sale with big savings on what you need to refresh your home. Think 20 to 40% off new furniture, like our exclusive Radley sectional, now $21.99. And take 30 to 60% off a new mattress from Hotel Collection, Serta, and more, so you can sleep better. Hurry into Macy's before this weekend is over, because our President's Day sale ends Sunday. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song. Get your max tax refund guaranteed, and new customers get $100 to switch. Don't miss the boat. Book an appointment with experts today. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook.
Six-time Pro Bowl cornerback Darius Slay is being cut by the Eagles in a salary cap-related move. Slay's release saves Philly more than $4 million. Football Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson has announced today he is retiring from Fox Sports' NFL coverage, calling it the most fun of his career. And the 76ers go for a second straight win tonight. They'll host Portland. Philly ended a 9-game losing streak by beating Golden State Saturday. I'm Scott Davidson.
Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Get ready for the biggest night in podcasting.
The iHeart Podcast Award goes to...
Join us for our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards, live from Austin, Texas at South by Southwest.
Celebrating the most innovative and influential voices in the podcasting world.
Push boundaries.
Sit down with amazing guests every week.
And engage audiences in new, remarkable ways.
Don't miss our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards.
Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and listen right here.
Monday night at 11.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Jam 95 northbound Girard up the bridge and southbound from Cottman to Bridge. Schuylkill westbound, stop and go University to Vine and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound Jam Montgomery Drive to South 42 South Heavy Wall, Whipping Creek Road. To tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm cursing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on
that.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Something amazing is happening in video conferencing. People are showing up in big ways. That's because CDW is building collaborative and connected video and audio environments with HP Poly. With Noise Block AI to silence distractions and group framing to highlight speakers, everyone on your team gets to shine. Make amazing happen. HP Poly and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/poly.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll want a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry, Terry.
Keep awkwardly
Terry,
chanting your own name, Terry. You
Terry.
deserve it.
Woo!
Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273D. Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia.
Hey now. Daily Ticket with you here. Sean Brace, Luke Arcaini. We got you till 5 o'clock. Big week for us. All things madness this week. We'll be all over college hoops for you. We got some big games going off this evening. Duke back in action. Big time favorite. And the big one for me, though, Houston and Kansas. I think it's the big one for a lot of people out there. We'll hit on that coming up a little bit later in the hour. Luke Arcaini, as I said, he does a great job covering all things Phillies for us. Does a little of everything at the end of the day, but for the Gambler Gang specifically, and over at crossingbroad.com, covers the fightins better than most. So with that being said, here we are on March 3rd. We got a couple. How many games have they played so far, Luke? 3 or 4?
Yeah, they had 5, and then they had 2 yesterday, so probably about 6 or 7.
Okay, I take that
back.
back.
Squad yesterday, the old split squad. Half of them stay home, half of them go on the road.
Love a good split squad Sunday afternoon in Clearwater, Florida. All right, with that being said, you do have some news and notes from your notebook on all things Phillies. Where do we start? Because I know Taijuan Walker was a big one on my timeline. Should we expect Taijuan to make an appearance for the Phillies this year?
That's a good question. I will say this. His first start yesterday versus Toronto was extremely encouraging. He topped out around 94. He didn't hit that at all last season. So it's good to see the velocities back up, at least in the spring. He sat around 89 this time last year. So he was up yesterday to around 93-ish. I believe he did hit 94 once. So that is good to see. As far as Taijuan making the roster, I don't necessarily think that's a lock. I think right now the Phillies are hoping that Taijuan has a great spring and maybe some team will take somewhat of a percentage of his contract at a trade. But at the same time, if they can't find a trade spot, then maybe he could be the last guy in the bullpen. He could be a swingman along with Joe Ross. So I think it's sort of up in the air of if he'll be a Philly on March 27th. But as far as his, I would say, trade value, I think it's a little higher now than it was a few days ago.
Well, that's a good thing.
That is
definitely
good. We like when the trade value goes up. We don't like when it goes down.
That's right. All right, staying with the Phils. Talk to me and give us some names that are making the most of this opportunity, whether it's a young and up-and-coming player that was drafted by the Phillies or somebody that just got an opportunity. What's a player right now that's grabbing your attention down in Clearwater?
Yeah, so for me right now, it's Gabriel Rincones Jr. He has 3 homers already this spring. The big issue with Rincones over the first 2 years of his pro career was injuries. I wrote about it for Crossing Broad about a week ago. He's got some serious pop. He's got pop. It's actually his birthday today. So happy birthday to Gabriel Rincones Jr. So he was drafted by the Padres 3 years ago. He forgoed that and went back to college for another year and then was drafted by the Phillies 2022 third rounder. He had 2 pretty good years down in the minors last year. In Reading, he had 11 homers, 29 RBIs, but he was dealing with some injuries the last 2 years. He's got some serious game to him. He can hit the crap out of the baseball. He plays a pretty good outfield. He plays more the corners I don't believe he's logged any innings in center, but he does play the corners well. He is young. He just turned 24 today, so he has 2 years under his belt in the minors. I don't think he's going to make the team because I think I wouldn't say full, but I think they have some guys that are locks for the outfield. Obviously, I think we know Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh, Max Kepler. I think they want to continue to give Rojas the chance. But Rincones, to me, is a guy that if there was an injury later in the season, I think they give him a shot. I think they give him a week to come up, see what he's got. And if he comes up and he impresses, then I think they're going to have a decision to make. But I think their eyes were definitely a little more open now than they were a few weeks ago as far as his game. I don't think they expected him to be the best hitter so far in spring training. And he has absolutely been that. So
wow.
They are, I will say this, it has been 3 to 4 very good years of the Phillies completely turning around their farm system. It's been a really good job from Preston Mattingly and sort of his team, the Phillies and all of their development and the scouting and their farm system is miles ahead of what it was a few years ago. I think we obviously all know the top 3, Aiden Miller, Andrew Painter, Justin Crawford. But then you have guys like last year, they traded for Moises Chaché, who all they had to trade for a really good pitching prospect was a guy in Gregory Soto, who was later released by the Orioles 2 weeks later. They have some young guys, including Rincones. They're starting to have a deeper and deeper farm system as we go, which is good because the Phillies are a team right now where they're getting on the older side of things. You look at Bryce Harper, Trey, JT's now, 34, 35. Zach Wheeler's getting up there. These guys are aging. And their play, I wouldn't say is aging. I mean, I think you could say last year's season from a guy like JT Realmuto wasn't the sort of JT that we've known for the last few years, but there's not a veteran on this team that's getting younger. So it's nice to be able to continue this farm system build. And I'm hoping they continue to do that. I think they will. But yeah, Rincones for me has been the guy. He's been the guy to me that I've been saying, I don't think he makes the roster. But I think he's making it a little harder for the Phillies not to have him on there.
All right. Great to hear. And I just had some news pop up on my timeline from the Phillies, people that like to go down to games at Citizens Bank Park. Now, who doesn't, right? Everybody loves to go to the games, but it's going to be a little cold to start the season, as it always is in April. But the Phillies are rolling out the ballpark pass for $120, granting access to all 14 home games in the month of April. You get Rockies, you get the Dodgers, you get the Giants, you get the Marlins, and you get the Nationals. Opening day not included. So it works out to $9 a game. $9 a ticket, less than $9 a ticket. That's pretty good, right? I'll tell you what. Yeah. It has my interest, that's for sure. They also said they're going to do it in September as well for $80, but there's a couple less games compared to April. So something to keep in mind. Look, that's not a bad as far as total price. You get 2 of them, get 3 of them for the family, whatever it is. Pick out a couple games. I like that approach. Nice work by the Phillies on that one. And, of course, get some fans in the seats for those cold games, especially when it comes to taking on the Dodgers there. Kyle Fisher, who will be in studio with me on Wednesday, Luke. Kyle checking in here.
Yeah.
It says Rincones has been a nice surprise in spring. Being a left-handed hitter who only plays outfield limits his opportunities, but he agrees with you. He could be one of the first guys called up after an injury. All right, great stuff there. As I said, Kyle's going to be with me in studio on Wednesday. Looking forward to mixing up with him. Let's talk a little about Christopher Sanchez. What's the expectation there?
I
saw people on the timeline already talking about Cy Young. Come on. I'll hose you boys down.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, the dude's throwing some gas right now down in Clearwater. He's been hitting 98. The first pitch of his spring touched 98. I will say this: if you go back and you look at pictures of Sanchez from 22, 23, 24 compared to this year, he bulked up this offseason. He looks like a unit out there on the mound. I mean, he's already been tall, but he's been gassing. Yeah, I mean, he hit 98.3 yesterday on the gun. I believe he had 5 pitches in the 98s. The dude's just gross. The changeup. There was actually, Sean, I'm a psycho for spring training baseball. I watch it to no T. I actually enjoy it more in the later innings.
It means nothing.
It means nothing, but it means everything.
Nothing. I'm telling you right now, I remember an argument, and this will always stick with me. It was Ryan Howard. I remember it so much that I forget what year it was. He had a great spring training, and I remember saying, look, he's hitting the ball well in spring training. He's not striking out. And it meant absolutely nothing the rest of the season. Zero. So
no, it means everything for my takes. It doesn't really mean anything for the season.
Okay, gotcha.
But Christopher Sanchez gassing, throwing some heaters. He's also, I will say, this is where I was getting to. He his first changeup of the day yesterday actually made me get out of my seat. It was Sean, not even joking, dude. I was like, oh my Lord. He looks nasty, man. And I will say this. I think the sort of way they format the rotation this year, I think is going to be a little different. I don't think Nola will be in the 2. I think opening weekend, I think you'll see Wheeler go game 1, obviously. I think Sanchez will go game 2. And then Nola will be 3. I think they're going to kind of roll with Sanchez in the 2 this year just because of all the lefties. Because I think if you sort of look at the rotation right now, it's from last year with adding in Luzardo, who also looked nasty so far this spring. Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Luzardo, Ranger. I don't think they want to have lefty, 3, 4, 5. I think Sanchez is absolutely good enough to be in the 2 spot. So I wouldn't be surprised if that first weekend in Washington, you see Wheeler, Sanchez game 2, and then Nola, which would probably set up Luzardo to pitch the home opener if they do keep Ranger back in that 5 slot. I do definitely want Luzardo up higher than Ranger. I like Ranger in the 5. So I'm thinking it's going to be Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola in Washington, and then opening day, or as far as the home opener for the Phillies, I think you'll probably see Jesus Luzardo that day.
All right. Great stuff there. I like that. All right. We got a long way to go until
we got a long way to go. We got a lot of meaningful spring training games to watch where I can watch these relievers that I've heard of 3 times throw these 99-mile-an-hour sliders. Dude, I'm tell you what, I bet you've never heard of them. I'm pretty close to being all in on a guy named John McMillan. Throws absolute gas. Tell you what, cannot control the ball to save his life, but throws heat. I will say this: Jeff Hoffman couldn't control the ball either 2 years ago. That is all I'll say there. But no, that is the nice part for spring training is I think you get to sort of look at the guys that won't make the team. I think spring training is way more important for the guys like Rincones, for the bullpen guys, for these like fringe guys to sort of see what they have. And I think it's big for the development program as well, just to see like what these guys need to work on. Because 3 weeks ago, I've never heard of John McMillan, and now he's in a Phillies uniform throwing like 101 miles an hour on the mound, and he just can't control it. So that's definitely be something to work on with him. But this is the season that you sort of see where these guys are at. I will say this: one guy that I was high on before spring, I thought this was a very big bounce back year for him. Jose Alvarado hit 101.5 yesterday on March 2nd. So he looks like he's in the best shape of his life right now. He lost a ton of weight this offseason. He looks healthy out there on the mound, and the arm is gassing, and it's barely even March yet. So I'm expecting Alvarado to have a nice year. But yeah, we have 24 days till opening day, March 27th at Nationals Park. Probably be Zach Wheeler versus Mackenzie Gore is my guess. So it'll be a good one.
I love it. Yeah, well, look, I can't wait for it. Bottom line is it means warmer weather on the horizon, which is always a thumbs up. But as I said, getting down to Citizens Bank Park to see a game, that's what it's all about, especially when you got a good team in that Dodgers series bright and early in the schedule. That's pretty darn good. I like that. All right, now let's go ahead and get on over to one quick conversational piece, and that is from the Combine, where Travis Hunter, who plays both ways, essentially said that what he does and what playing the NFL both ways is a little bit more difficult than what Shohei Ohtani is doing out there in LA. I just look at it from the standpoint of if Shohei Ohtani wasn't Shohei, like if he wasn't the one of the greatest baseball players to ever take the field, does Travis Hunter have taken this, or is a correct way of looking at it when you are talking about dual threat comparisons? And like for me, when you bring up Shohei Ohtani's name, it starts and ends. That's it. It's the end of the conversation.
Yeah,
this is one of the greatest players I've ever seen, man.
Not just baseball either. Not just baseball. He's one of the greatest players in sports that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's at the high level, and you take off the pitching, and it's like, dude, come on, man! Like this guy is an incredible DH. Then you add in the fact that he can pitch, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be the way it works. You can't have a guy that good who can work on both games the way he needs to do to compete at a professional level, and then to be the best on that team, which is just insane. So I respect Travis Hunter, who wanted to say that, look, he said probably what football, quote, is more difficult than what Shohei Ohtani does. He went on to say, because it's a lot on your body. Ohtani, he's a great player, but you got to do a lot in football. I just look at how important he is to the game from the standpoint of pitching, from the 4 at-bats that he gets, what he produces. Not to take a shot at Travis Hunter and playing at the professional level in football, but, man, we're talking about one of the greats. So, yeah, you're going to lose that conversation.
Yeah, and you're going to lose it every time because, number one, hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in all of sports.
That too.
So, Shohei Ohtani going up 4 times a game against a guy like Zach Wheeler, that's incredibly difficult to do in general. I will stand on the take forever, and I'll argue this with anybody, that hitting a baseball at the professional level is the hardest thing to do in all of sports. There's nothing harder to do in any sport. And then I will also say that Shohei every 5 days has to go out and pitch 7 innings against guys like Aaron Judge and guys like Bobby Witt and guys like Bryce Harper. And the fact that Travis Hunter and the issue I had with that is you can't say that when you haven't played at the professional level yet. Because if Travis Hunter goes out there and he plays at an all-pro level at corner and an all-pro level at receiver, then I think you could start to have this conversation. I still don't think he'll be right, but I think you can start to have this conversation. But Shohei Ohtani pitching and hitting for the Dodgers, while Travis Hunter plays receiver and corner for the University of Colorado. I think there's levels to this.
Yes.
I don't think Travis Hunter's anywhere close. Yeah, as my friend Sean Brace likes to say, there's levels to this.
There's levels to this. Exactly.
It is crazy. And it's funny to think about too, because if you're a receiver or if you're a corner, you're going up against what? If you're playing corner, you're matched up against the same receiver mostly all game, and maybe you switch off. If you're a receiver, you have 1 or 2 different guys covering you. If you're Shohei Ohtani and you're pitching, you have to pitch against 9 different hitters every single game. And then if you're hitting, you probably have to pitch against 4 guys in that game, and you have to hit against those 4 pitchers. This is not comparable for me right now. I thought that was a wild comment for him to make. But that is neither here nor there. But what Shohei Ohtani does, nobody in sports could do what Shohei Ohtani does, because he goes out there and he hits 60 home runs, and the seasons he's healthy to pitch, he's in the running for Cy Young.
I think the cheapest spring training, they're like the Beatles. It's absurd what they are right now, the Dodgers. But the cheapest spring training ticket for the first game that featured Shohei Ohtani was like $160. $160 to go see a spring training game. And what does Ohtani do in his first at bat? Goes yard.
You could go to 28 of 30 MLB teams on a Friday night in May, and you'd be able to find a ticket for half of that. And with fees, you're probably paying about $200 to watch Ohtani take probably 2 at bats, because the funniest part is they don't even play the whole game in spring training.
No, they don't.
So he's probably taking like 2 at bats. So there is no comparison here.
No,
for me.
All right. Luke Arcaini's hanging with me. We're coming down the home stretch. Other side, we got some odds and ends that we need to take care of. Also, Luke, we did not talk about the one big move in the NFL as far as to a division rival is concerned. So we'll talk a little bit about that move coming up on the other side that took place this weekend. But I guarantee you will not be able to guess what I was doing till about 1 o'clock in the morning last night. I guarantee you will not be able to guess it. Nope whatsoever. However, I did tweet it out. So if you want to check out what I was doing till 1 o'clock last night, it is pretty funny. I'll give you exactly what was on my plate last night up until about 1:15 I saw, which was way late for this old man. But as I said, odds and ends. We'll have some fun on the way out. And again, all eyes on the upcoming NBA or the NFL draft. We will be all over it for you here on The Gambler. Make sure you're checking out what Beef and McClay have going on our socials at Fox PHL Gambler with Bending the Edge. I love it. And Mark Henry Jr. and his show detailed a lot of conversation about the top 6. A lot of people checking in. So we'll go over some of the tweets as far as at Fox PHL Gambler is concerned throughout the course of this show. A lot to do, only a little time. Luke Arcaini's hanging with me. It's the Daily Take More for this.
Cinderella stories are fun until they bust your bankroll. The madness is coming.
Cooper there to clean it up. A throwdown with 2 hands.
Keep it locked right here to The Gambler. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Things are busy on the Vine Expressway both ways. Schuylkill 95 northbound, stop and go approaching Girard up the bridge. Southbound heavy Woodhaven to Academy, Cottman to Bridge, and then further south, so Ridley Park to 320. Blue Route northbound stacked up 95 past McDade southbound, so Broomall to Route 1. Watch for jam traffic on the Schuylkill westbound, University past the Vine Expressway and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound, stop and go Montgomery Drive to South. Boulevard northbound, jam Schuylkill to Broad. Lara to tell it, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
A landscaping pro's workday is measured in power per hour. More work in less time. That's why the pros prefer Echo outdoor power equipment. Echo's best-in-class chainsaws, blowers, and string trimmers make light work out of the toughest workdays. It's time your crew upgraded to Echo Power. Experience Echo Power for yourself at Laurel Lawn Mower in Blackwood, New Jersey. Visit laurellawn.com or call 856-228-2770 to learn more. Echo. Power on and on.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Philadelphia, Radnor, and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Michelle Ferrari, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Online at CordellCordell.com.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on them.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful. Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. Daily Ticket with you here, Luke Arcaini, Sean Brace. Hello. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I know I did. And hopefully we get some good weather over here the next couple of days. I believe it's supposed to be clear and dry and then, March weather, whatever. The bottom line is life is easier when we have some sun outside, right?
Oh, big time.
Goff, ready for the, ready to just get back out there. And, man, give me some, give it a mask. Hello, friends. That's, not trying to
that
get
song
deep.
will do something to you, Sean. That song will do something to you.
I'll put a little lead in your pencil, huh, Luke?
Oh, let me tell you, Sean. That song will do something to you. That first Thursday of the Masters weekend when it's on my computer, there's nothing better.
It's unfortunate because last year we were at Circa out there, myself and Jansen for Masters. Not going to happen this time around. Not going to happen. But that's all right. Got a baby on the way, so got to behave. All right, got to try and behave. That's all we can do at this point in time. All right, let's. Like I said, we got some odds and ends to close up shop here. First of all, Deebo Samuel did the Commanders. Luke Arcaini on the surface. I think it's a pretty darn good move. Good for the Commanders. Good for Deebo. He wanted out. I just don't know. What's the ceiling? Where do you see on this? What is your take on this move for Deebo going to the Commanders and what he's able to bring to the offense?
Yeah, I think they have to maybe sort of adapt a little, sort of to that Deebo way.
Yes,
I think we saw in San Francisco that Deebo is the best on the weird plays and the end arounds and the screens and those sort of weird football plays. I think we saw last year that Deebo was struggling when last year that San Francisco offense seemed just like a normal NFL offense. I don't think Deebo is that great of a player just as a normal wide receiver, just running routes the whole game. I think we saw that last year. So I think they're going to have to sort of adapt to his sort of style. I think they're going to have to add to the playbook. I mean, they got better from that trade, which I think was good for Washington. I just can't imagine having to eat that much money for Deebo Samuel. It is around $20 million on his contract per year for that kind of player when the Eagles owe like $11 million to Saquon. It's just I just could not imagine eating that money for Deebo, who I still kind of think is a little washed now. I think he's a lot better 3 years ago than he is now. And it's funny because it's a lot of the old Washington fans tweeting yesterday after they sort of acquired him how this is the trade, this puts them over the edge, and then from our good buddy Nick Pacone, he went back on a few of their accounts and a lot of the tweets from these like 16-year-olds who don't have their faces, their profile picture, saying 2 years ago about how washed Deebo is and he's a nobody now in the San Fran offense. But now, that is the over the edge move for the Washington Commanders, who still don't have that good of a defense. But I mean, on the surface, I think it definitely helps Washington. I think it adds a threat to their offense. I think there's a chance for him to work really well with Jaden Daniels. I think having the threat of sort of him out of the backfield and Deebo, plus all the running Jaden Daniels can do. But I just wouldn't want to pay that much money for Deebo. If you're Washington, however, though, and you have a good amount of cap, I think it's a move that sort of works out for you.
Yeah, look, the Commanders, I think, need to target the draft more than anything for defensive side of the ball. So if you can pick up a guy like Deebo, I think this is a good move. They ended up giving up a 5th-round pick. Some people say that's it. Again, I'm going to leave that to the experts. He's 29 years old. This is year 7 for him in the league, so a new spot. And again, it comes back to if I'm a player, and I think we're going to see this more and more, like I want to be in a place where the quarterback is not a question. And Jaden Daniels, I know that their quarterbacks have had sophomore slumps. CJ Stroud had a sophomore slump. It could very well happen, but Jaden Daniels is the future down there with the Commanders at the quarterback position. So you look at that, it seems like the success that they had is not going to be a one-off. Dan Quinn is a culture builder. I do believe in the Commanders being a good football team. I didn't think that this year was a fluke. So that move is only going to help him on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't know if we're overvaluing Deebo. Has that ship sailed? Because he was incredible 2 years ago. Maybe a new place to play, East Coast, a whole new scene is exactly what he needs to rejuvenate his career and reach that potential in which Deebo could possibly be. Again, defensively, though, that's where I'm at for the Commanders. They need to target that defense. They had a lot of win-now players, and they were able to do that last year. They didn't get over the hump, of course, but that was a very successful season if you're a Commanders fan. Yeah. Defensively, though, what are they going to do in the offseason? For you. I'm not questioning you on that.
But I think you're absolutely right. They have to improve. I mean, we saw the secondary. It's not good. They need to add on the D line. They need to add linebackers. I think they're obviously going to be in on Myles Garrett. I don't know if he'll go there. Hopefully
that could be a good fit. That could be a good fit.
That seems like a move that Washington would definitely try and go after. If they want to set the tone after last season, you go out with that offense and you sort of add some defensive guys in the draft, plus also trading for Myles Garrett. I think if you're a Washington fan, you would feel pretty good heading in the next year with that guy on your D-line.
No doubt about it. All right, keeping it moving. Again, a couple odds and ends on the way out here on a Monday, getting the party started and all things daily ticket for us here. Luke Arcaini hanging with us. We mixed it up a little earlier. We talked a little Eagles to open up. Really didn't hit on the NBA at all, but the big news from the weekend from the 76ers perspective, who are back in action. Joel Embiid shutting it down for the rest of the season. Should have happened a long time ago. He only played 19 games due to an injured left knee that needs apparently more recovery time / a new approach / could be breaking his hip to do that. Like it's deflating. It's a disaster. Whatever D word you want to throw in there, that's all the above. And we all love Joel Embiid. There's nobody going to sit here and say anything bad about him on this station, on these shows, from a gambler personality. But I do think we all have to be realistic and say we've seen this happen before for big men specifically. The injury prone. I heard somebody say injury prone is not a real thing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Like, you can sit here and say it's bad luck. You could sit here and say that, some things have happened to him over the years that were out of his control. Understood. But he is a big dude. And eventually the body playing at that level, you get the best athletes out there. It's ridiculous what the NBA players are able to do. These dudes are just insane when it comes to athleticism.
Animals.
Yeah.
And it's sad too, because it's a really sad end to a career of the most skilled Sixer of all time. Joel Embiid at his best was one of the best. And anytime you try and bring Embiid up in any sort of argument, it's just, you can't talk about Joel Embiid on the timeline anymore without 25 people in your replies. But if you put that to the side, that he is one of the most skilled basketball players I've ever watched. When he's at his best, I mean, he's averaging 30 a night with 12 boards, and he has handles outside the 3-point line, and he has one of the best mid-range jumpers from the post that I've ever seen. It's a shame. It's a shame because it's obvious that he wants to be out there. Like, it's obvious that he wants to play basketball. He wants to play basketball for the Sixers, and he wants to win. He wants to win a championship, but his body's just not letting him. And it's really sad because it's the biggest what if in Philly sports in the last 30 something years. It's what if this guy was able to put together a fully healthy career? Like, what could have happened?
Yeah.
What if he didn't have 2 eye fractures in the matter of 2 years? What if he didn't spend the first 2 years of his career in a foot cast? What if he didn't get his leg stepped on? And what if he didn't trip over a railing? Like, it's just, if you want to talk injury prone, that's the guy. And it's a shame because it's a generational talent in a body that just failed him. And not all of that is his body. That there is the argument that, over the years, he could have taken better care of his body, and he could have done more of this, and he could have been more in shape. But I mean, if you watch that guy when he's healthy, like, you can't sit here and tell me he's not one of the 5 most skilled players that you've watched in the NBA in the last 25 years. Like, it's just,
this is an interesting question for you, because again, no one is going to say here you're right or wrong when it comes to Joel Embiid. He did have 8 years. He did have 8 years to prove himself, to get the team. And it's a team game. Look, I get it, but superstars sometimes carry teams to that next level. He had some decent rosters on with the Sixers, and it just never came to fruition. He went up against better teams and ended up losing in the second round. It's what he will always be known for. If this is the end of his career, who knows what's going to happen moving forward? I do know that some of the stuff that's on the timeline, I would rather him say, you know what, thank you, but it's time for me to go. I played my ass off. Thank you. Like, I don't want to see him go through that type of rehab where we're talking about breaking bones. It's ridiculous. But I did see something on my timeline last week that got a lot of conversation. I don't know who believes what they say and whatever, but I will tell you that I believe in what I say. And there's not a time when I'm live that I'm just throwing something out there for views or to get a call. We don't even take calls. But when it comes to the process, the question is, was the process, if I give you 2 options, a success or failure, what box do you check, Luke Arcaini?
Success.
You do? Why?
I check success. Because what was the goal of the process? Was it to go win a championship? Was that the only goal? If that was the only goal of the process, then the process was a failure. But you put together from what, 2013, I guess, like when it's, I guess 2013, we could say that was the start of it. You put together 7 to 8 straight seasons of elite playoff basketball. And yeah, they came up short. But they've also come up short every year since 1984. So like it's not like, and I get it. Yes, they didn't make it to an Eastern Conference Finals since Embiid has been here. But the process gave you the most skilled player in the history of the Sixers. It gave you encouraging time of Sixers basketball because it's yes, now you look back at it and it's like, well, yeah, you know, it's just been failure after failure after failure. And I don't think that's true. I think, yes, they didn't get to the ultimate goal, but you have guys like Embiid, who was the face of this franchise for 10 years. And when he was out on the court for until the injuries really started piling up, like I would say this year, every time Joel Embiid was on the court, it was must-watch basketball. Every single time. They were in the top 5 market of basketball teams for the last 8 to 10 years. They had a core here. They went through, obviously, the year with Jimmy. They had Ben here for the years. And yes, the ending with Ben Simmons wasn't fun. But the 4 years before that was an awesome basketball team. And yeah, they didn't get to the end goal. But there's also a lot of other teams in this league and a lot of teams in other leagues that also don't get to that goal. I would call it a success before I would call it a failure.
All right, look, and I'm in total agreement with you, right? But I have to live by the code, and the code is my take on the process from day one was, oh, you're going to lose on purpose. Oh, then it's to win a championship. And you said it, right?
And that's
if you're going to make it plain and see, it's if you're going to make it black and white, it's real easy for me to sit here and say, then it wasn't a success. It was a failure. Never did win a championship. Remember, they got to the second round with Iggy. You know, they got to the second round versus the Chicago Bulls. Like, it happened versus the Boston Celtics. They ended up beating the Bulls to get to the second round. So, like, that was there, and it wasn't good enough. They tried. They swung for the fences with Bynum. It was not good enough. Okay, now let's just blow everything up, lose on purpose, go out there and get a guy like Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Markelle Fultz. Oh, by the way, Sam Hinkie had his ways of going about certain things. They removed him. It still was always about winning a championship.
Yeah,
but never happened.
If your goal, if your definition of the process was to win a championship, then it was a failure. But if your thought process of the process was to revive Sixers basketball and get a core of guys and start competing for a championship, then it was an absolute success. Because it was ugly. Everyone remembers that. It was ugly.
Bynum was ugly. Bynum was ugly. That whole scenario was ugly. But I'll tell you, man, I was a guy that was thumbs up on tanking. I was a straight up thumbs up tanking guy. But I was one of the guys that said, I don't want to be bothered. Like, there were plenty of people that made a name for himself because they were all fired up to talk about the tanking years and the process seasons and, you know, Guy Sampson and Ish Smith and whoever else, like the Hollis, like those years send shivers down my spine. That's how bad it was. I could not watch. I didn't spend $1 on Sixers. So you removed the Sixers from my life for 3 straight seasons, and it sucked. But I always was like, look, you're going to get me Joel Embiid. You're going to get me Ben Simmons. I see the vision. 7 straight years of playoff basketball. There were some good teams mixed in there. They came up short. Unfortunately, it was fun for a lot of the regular season action. They were they were the 1 seed. They were the overall 1 seed. Joel Embiid was an MVP. So how can I sit here and tell you that it wasn't successful? But I got to stick to my guns. When everything was going down, I said, if this results in a championship, then the process was worth it. And it did not. So that's why
I have a question for you. I have a really quick question for you.
Yeah.
Should somebody ever wear 21 again for the Sixers?
Already? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
If it's
Well,
done,
no,
if it's done, and he came out this offseason and he retired, does somebody wear 21 again for the Sixers?
No.
Good.
No.
They shouldn't.
No, they should not. He's not going to walk away. For
No,
the people
I don't think he is. I don't think he is either.
No way. He's
But
not
if
going to
he
walk away
would
from that
leave
money.
or
He's got
something like that.
$193 million. You think he's giving that back?
Exactly.
No way.
Exactly. No.
Get out of here.
I haven't voted yet. The last person that should wear 21 for the Sixers should be Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid gave it his all. He was a dynamic player. Again, he won an MVP. I think we're all, we realize, man,
What if?
Yeah, there's a lot of what if. But not this show. This show is awesome. Damn it. This show was a success. That's all I know. All right. Luke Arcaini, fantastic job as always. Read him at crossingbroad.com. Philly season will be here before we know it. But, of course, spring training is here. So now's the time to get caught up in everything. And be sure to follow Luke at Arcaini, Luke on socials. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to get off your chest? Forget. Oh, I didn't even tell you what I was doing until 1 o'clock in the morning last night. I was making a playlist. I'm now, this is my deal for the upcoming couple months here. I'm going to start doing some gigs, hopefully get back at the Daisy, got some ideas. I'm making a modern day yacht rock mix.
Okay.
This is my spiel.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and put myself out there so I can start DJing around the happy hours, not till midnight, not till 2, from 5 till 9. And I got the ultimate playlist.
I'll be there.
Dude, I have last night, I went through probably 4 to 5 just different outlets, pages, whatever you name. And I came up with old school 70s and 80s only. Didn't even go into modern world because I got plenty of ideas there and how I'm going to mix it up. But I came up with 200 songs, like 220 last night. I wrote down. So I'm Shazamming. I'm Googling. I got all the lists. I got I'm telling you right now, this playlist is going to be fire. Now it's not even just a playlist because then I got to go ahead and marry it and find those grooves and of course like I said, the modern, and then weed out some of the songs that I don't need because I'm not going to need all 200. But when I come up with that 90-minute to 2-hour mix, I'm telling you, it's going to hit. Hit in a big way. Bang! You're damn right. Love it. All right. Fantastic stuff. Luke Arcaini, can't thank you enough. Hey, if you missed Luke and I coming up in the next hour, we got a little best of. We open up talking all things Darius Slay, and you get a little Phillies conversation from Luke as well in the 5 o'clock hour. Then we hand things off to Fox Sports Radio tomorrow live from 3 to 6 p.m. Wednesday, we will have Kyle Fisher in studio. Sam Ostrey is going to join me on Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to be live from the Philly show. If you don't know what that is, just Google PhillyShow.com right now and get your tickets because the champs will be in the building. Luke, thank you very much, sir. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Looking to elevate your golf game? Welcome to Penn Club on 2nd in the heart of Conshohocken. With over 350 courses to